Robert Redford, born Charles Robert Redford Jr. on August 18, 1936 in Santa Monica, California, grew up in a modest but creative home. His mother, Martha Hart, was a freelance illustrator and commercial artist who nurtured his artistic side, while his father, Charles Robert Redford, Sr., worked as a chemist and lab technician, providing stability and discipline. Raised in Southern California, Redford was surrounded by both the vibrancy of West Coast culture and the proximity of Hollywood, influences that would quietly plant the seeds of a career in film. He attended Van Nuys High School, where he explored acting in school plays and developed an early love of performance. Later, he enrolled at the University of Colorado, originally majoring in architecture. Though architecture satisfied his intellectual curiosity, his passion pulled him elsewhere. Redford left for New York City, where he trained at the American Academy of Dramatic Arts, a move that gave him the rigorous foundation and industry connections he needed to pursue acting seriously. By the late 1950s, Redford began appearing in television roles, gradually working his way toward film. His breakthrough came with Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid, 1969, opposite Paul Newman. The role transformed him overnight into a household name. His performance as the Sundance Kid was charming, rebellious, and distinctly modern, redefining the archetype of the American leading man. The film not only captivated audiences, but also marked the beginning of one of Hollywood's most beloved on-screen pairings. Throughout the 1970s and 1980s, Redford cemented his reputation with films such as The Sting, 1973, All the President's Men, 1976, and Out of Africa, 1985. Each role proved his ability to navigate different genres, from political thrillers to sweeping romance. Meanwhile, Redford began forging his legacy behind the camera. In 1980, he founded the Sundance Institute, designed to nurture independent filmmakers. Out of this grew the Sundance Film Festival, which is now the most important showcase for independent films worldwide. Countless careers owe their start to the vision Redford had for giving outsiders and innovators a platform. In 1980, Redford directed Ordinary People, his first major project behind the camera. The intimate family drama won the Academy Award for Best Picture and earned him the Oscar for Best Director. He proved he was not only a charismatic actor, but also a filmmaker of deep sensitivity and skill. Over the next 2 decades, he directed acclaimed works such as The Magro-Beanfield War, 1988, A River Runs Through It, 1992, and Quiz Show, 1994, each project combining his love of history, art, and socially conscious themes. Redford also continued to balance acting and directing. He starred in The Natural, 1984, becoming the quintessential all-American hero, and in The Horse Whisperer, 1998, which he also directed, blending emotional storytelling with breathtaking landscapes. In the 2000s, he appeared in political dramas like Lions for Lambs, 2007, and directed projects including The Conspirator, 2011, and The Company You Keep, 2012, proving his commitment to thoughtful, often politically charged storytelling. Away from the screen, Redford's personal life was shaped by love, tragedy, and family. He married Lola Van Wagen on August 9, 1958, in Las Vegas. A second reception with family followed on September 12. Together, they had 4 children. Scott Anthony Redford, born September 1, 1959, who heartbreakingly passed away at just 2½ months from sudden infant death syndrome. Shauna Jean Redford, born November 15, 1960, who became a painter and married journalist Eric Schl. David James Redford, born May 5, 1962, who became a filmmaker and activist before his untimely passing on October 16, 2020. Amy Hart Redford, born October 22, 1970, who has built her own career as an actress, director, and producer. Though deeply bonded by family, Redford and Van Wagen eventually separated after years of drifting apart, though they kept their private lives out of the press. In 2009, Redford married Sibylla Zaggers, a German-born artist, in a quiet ceremony in Hamburg, Germany. The couple had already shared more than a decade together, splitting time between Sundance, Utah, and other homes, building a relationship grounded in art, activism, and mutual respect. At 89 years old, Redford has now reflected publicly on one of the most meaningful relationships of his life, his decade-long friendship and collaboration with Paul Newman. Their bond began with Butch Cassidy in The Sundance Kid and continued through The Sting, but it was more than just Hollywood magic. It was a genuine brotherhood. Paul was the kind of person who made everyone better. Redford said he remembered Newman's humility, his effortless charm, and his generosity. Even at the height of fame, Newman stayed grounded, never letting success cloud his humanity. On set, they had what Redford described as an unspoken understanding, a natural rhythm that allowed them to challenge each other, improvise freely, and elevate every scene. Not for awards, but for the sheer love of the craft. Off-screen, Newman was equally important in Redford's life. He was more than a friend. He was like a brother. Redford admitted their relationship was built on trust, laughter, private counsel, and a deep respect that endured for decades. For Redford, Newman was not only a collaborator, but also a guiding force, someone who quietly reinforced what mattered most in life. As Redford looks back, he is filled with gratitude. Paul taught me that success isn't about wealth or fame, it's about kindness, integrity, and the impact you have on others. At this late stage of his remarkable life, Robert Redford has given audiences and historians a priceless gift, a glimpse into one of Hollywood's greatest friendships. His words remind us that while films like Butch Cassidy and The Sundance Kid and The Sting may live forever, what truly endures is the bond of respect and brotherhood between two men who changed cinema together.